Well, that was amazing. First of all, let's give each other a hand because that was an incredible report. You know, when I opened up this morning, I said we are in tumultuous times, and we are. It's a very difficult time to be alive in many ways, but it's also an incredibly exciting time to be alive. There is so much happening right now. Before I started ConnectSafely or co-started ConnectSafely, and even as I have worked at ConnectSafely, I also had a career as a journalist. And I started covering technology, believe it or not, in the 1980s, before many of the people in this room, long before many of the people in this room were born. And I've had a chance to see everything from the birth of the personal computer to the iPhone, I'm probably going to skip things, the laser printer, broadband, the World Wide Web, social media, you name it. And somebody once said to me, well, what do you think where does AI fit in this hierarchy? And I said, well, it's at least as important as broadband. It's at least as important as the World Wide Web. And then I realized, hello. Technical challenges are always a bane. Hello? There we go. So back. So it's a fundamental rethinking of how we operate. It does have, as someone referenced before, both similarities and differences to very early technology, the Industrial Revolution, the advent of the railroads, the advent of the automobile, the advent of the airplane, all of which made us more efficient, all of which enabled us to do things a lot easier, and in some cases things that either we couldn't do before or we couldn't do without enormous effort, like getting from New York to California. It was doable before the railroad and before the automobile, but it sure was tedious, dangerous, and incredibly time-consuming, and we got to do it in a matter of hours rather than a matter of months in some cases. But AI, I think, is far more transformative because it not only makes our lives more efficient, and every single day, Maureen can tell you, when we work on our guides, when we work on our planning, when we do our research, we do use AI to greatly enhance our productivity. And it's the why ConnectSafely, which is a very small team, is able to, one of the reasons we're able to get as much done as we do. The other reason, we've got some great people in our organization, but the AI is a very valuable resource. We sometimes jokingly refer to ChatGPT, Gemini, and Meta AI as staff members. You know, we're going to just have our staff person do this for us, and it's not a person, but it does a great job. But it also can do things that go beyond simply making our lives easier or more productive or faster. It has the ability to some extent, not exactly think for itself, but act in ways that enable it to do things that human beings may not have been able to do. And it's, as I said, incredibly transformative. But with every one of these technologies, with every single technology that I've ever seen, there are unintended consequences, there are risks, and there is a need to educate people on how to use them, as well as to think very thoroughly about how to regulate them. And one of the things that I'm so grateful for this event today, I learned a lot, and I hope you all did as well. And what I really hope is that everybody takes away as they leave Sacramento, or they leave the venue if they happen to live in or near Sacramento, what they learned from their table mates. What did adults learn from the young people in the room? What did young people learn from the adults in the room? What did the government officials in the room, and there are more than just we saw on stage, because we have some staff members here as well, what did you learn from the young people and from industry? And how is that going to make you more efficient and more productive as you think about how do you regulate some of these technologies in ways that enhance our safety and our privacy and our security, but don't stifle innovation, and most important, and I can't emphasize this enough, don't take away the rights of young people, because it is very easy to bubble wrap and very difficult to empower, but we need to empower and enable young people, the ones in this room and the ones who aren't in this room. And by the way, I very much appreciate Maya and others pointing out that there are people who are not in this room, not simply because the room can't hold any more people, but because there are people that we have more difficulty reaching, and we need to do that. But we need to really have that conversation. So I want to thank everybody for being here, being part of this conversation. As I said before, everything that was said will be transcribed. It will be analyzed. We'll probably use AI to help us, but we'll take responsibility for the outcome. Don't worry. We don't simply plug it in. We use it, but we also review it and make our own decisions. But we are going to produce a report, and we're very excited for your input. I want to start by thanking our sponsors, our supporters, Google, Meta, Roblox, Amazon Kids, Discord, OpenAI, Snap, Uber, Character AI, and Apple. Without your financial support, we would not have been able to pull off this event or indeed do our work on an ongoing basis. So thank you. But most of all, in addition to thanking everybody in the room, I want to thank the ConnectSafely staff, and let's see if I can get them all. I'll start with Vu, who is our media director, as well as the person who runs our Youth Advisory Council. So some of the young people may know Vu. Patty, who is my wife, who we drafted into helping us. There's the mic runner. Thank you. Nicole is our policy consultant who helped bridge the gap between us and some of the legislatures. Thank you very much, Nicole. I'm not sure who here is from BoSpar, our PR. I see Ryan, our PR agency, who helped get the word out. And we had a lot of press here today. Carrie, who you all got to know, who is an invaluable member of our organization. Thank you so much for everything you did today. And finally, the woman behind the curtain, Maureen Kochan, who really is the glue that makes this organization work. She is the person who put a heart of sweat and tears and a lot of stress, and sometimes I felt like I needed to hold her hand, although it's hard to do because she lives in Denver and I live in the Bay Area, but virtually holding her hand. So I really want to thank Maureen Kochan for making this happen. You did an amazing job. So with that, unless there's any further ado, I'm going to let you out a little bit early. And don't forget, tune in to ConnectSafely.org, check our YouTube channel, visit us on social media, and hug people in your life. We all need a hug. Thank you.